Okay, so I started watching this show for jokes because I was pretty sure DC was not capable of making good Superman content since...
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me! Who's got you?
the GOAT himself. But after just a few minutes of watching this show, I quickly realized that this was something special. It was a true Superman story. It contained the three essential elements of any Superman tale: Lois Lane, Lois Lane,
Lois Lane.
I mean, that alone should be reason enough to get y'all watching. I mean, my bad, I got distracted. But more than Lois, this show takes a unique spin to telling a story we already know, creating new problems and modern spins on the character that just work, while maintaining the deepest nature of Superman. So now that the first season is nearly done, I thought I'd take the time to go over why this is one of my favorite Superman stories I have ever watched. So, let's talk about it. My Adventures with Superman does a few things that I just love. Not that. Rather than start with an experienced Superman or one with his origin story, this show begins with Clark Kent, a college intern who's trying to figure out how to navigate his life, which is especially difficult when you keep doing this.
Uh-huh.
So, I'm just gonna leave before this gets any worse. Goodbye forever. Sorry, I'll fix the front door later. Oh.
This Superman is still wet behind the ears. He has to learn about himself at the same time as we do, creating new difficulties for the characters. This show does a great job making these characters extremely likable, and because their relationships are already known to us, the viewers, it doesn't waste any time putting them together and immediately gets to working on their group dynamic. My Adventures with Superman skillfully utilizes the audience's prior knowledge of the characters to jumpstart new lore, starting with an altered origin story that somehow just seems more realistic, a new rogues gallery, and even using other versions of Superman to create a story that gets to the root of what it means to be Superman.
How am I doing this? Who am I?
In the first few seconds of the show, we see a farm boy, Clark, confronted with a life or death scenario. Clark doesn't know he has powers. He's just a kid. But he doesn't just stand there or go to his parents. He doesn't even think about what to do. He just jumps immediately into action. A boy who can't even get his kite out of a tree runs towards a spiraling car to do something, anything he can to save these random people's lives. In that moment, something is ignited in him, a power to save lives. And for his kindness, what does he receive? Not thank yous, not gratefulness, just confusion. High in the sky, his farm looks so small. His home is so far away.
How am I doing
All he can
this?
wonder is,
Who am I?
unlike other versions of this character, this instance of Superman doesn't know where he comes from. He doesn't know what his strengths are. He doesn't know why he is here. He has no divine discovery or masterful monologue of who he is and what he's meant to be.
They can be a great people, Kal-El. They wish to be. They only lack the light to show the way. For this reason, above all, their capacity for good, I have sent them you, my only son.
He just has to live and figure out what's best. Just like us, he's been brought into this world unknowingly, and he must learn to live in it, making choices that affect him and the people around him. Except, for Clark, his actions and inactions have so much more weight than a normal person because he can do so much more than a normal person. We look in the sky and we see a flying man save a kid from a trap, a cat from a tree, a criminal from a truck, and we think to ourselves, it's only a matter of time before he turns against us. We look at the world around us and we think that the only conclusion that an alien could come to is that we are not worth saving, that our lives don't matter. Guilty until proven innocent. We live in a world that wonders what is the point of Superman. We live in a world that thinks Homelander and Omni-Man are more realistic versions of the beloved boy in blue. Why? Why isn't a boy dressed as a bat with $1 billion in the bank, bouncing from building to building, beating bad guys, more grounded than a man who...
I was scared. All I've ever wanted is to be normal. I don't want you to treat me like an alien. I just want to be your friend.
that just wants to be like everybody else, but can't? Why is it so hard to believe that someone just wants to be good? Is it because we're scared to get hurt? Is it because people deceive us? Is it because no one makes it to the top?
Writing fluff, you go for blood.
Maybe it's because we know that we're capable of doing such awful things, so we hide behind others so we don't have to look at ourselves. So when we see a man who treats his enemies the same way he treats friends, we thank him with this. And we tell him this.
We both know what you are. A weapon!
More than anything, this version of Clark Kent just wants to be a man amongst the people who fear him, a man with absolutely nothing super about him in a world where everyone's trying to be super and forget to be man. Yet, how can he sleep at night when he hears people crying for help? How can he sleep at night when he knows that he's invincible but the people he cares so deeply about are not? My Adventures with Superman shows us that Superman may be invincible, but Clark Kent is not.
Clark,
I'm okay. Everything's okay.
how did you know you'd be bulletproof?
I didn't. I just knew that you weren't.
It's exhausting trying to be everywhere all at once. It's terrifying seeing your friends in danger knowing they can get hurt. It's heartbreaking seeing your loved ones scared of what you might do to them. It's embarrassing to make a mistake when you're just trying to do the right thing, and it's disheartening when you doubt your place in this world. We call him an alien, we call him a weapon, but what is more human than that? What is more human than the excitement of going to see the one you love, the joy of reuniting with a long-lost friend, or the ecstasy of seeing a mom reunite with her child? What is more human than asking,
Who am I?
Clark!
so I guess it's only human that we treat him
Where
like this.
Am I?
Yet time and time again, no matter how tired, no matter how hurt, no matter how scared of what everyone is telling him who he's supposed to be, he makes a choice. He makes a choice to do good when it's so much easier to do anything else because
People are getting hurt, Lois. I have to try.
every day he has a choice to do right or to do wrong, and he chooses to do right in the face of all of it. That is what defines a hero.
Every single day he went out there and used that power to help us.
It's what we choose to do that matters. Superman's made his choice. It's our turn, Metropolis.
A Superman story is not about a man who's forgotten how to wear his underwear, the flapping red cape, the effortless gliding, the powerful fighting, the death-defying feats, but rather the beautiful styling and the happy smiling when you realize that everything's going to be okay. A Superman story is about what it means to be human. Because underneath that powerful S is just a man who doesn't know where he is from, who he is, and why he's here. At the end of the day, Superman is as the name implies, especially man. No matter all his powers, he can still get hurt, even if we can't see it on the outside. At the end of the day, Superman can't be everywhere and can't save everyone, so he has to rely on all of us to help him out, because without us, there's no one left to save. Without us, there's no one for him to come home to. At the root of this show, down to its title, My Adventures with Superman, it reveals to us that this isn't a show just about Superman, but rather a show about all of us who have to make it through the world just like Superman does. It's about the fear of something that you don't understand, but also the joy of being saved. I can't think of anything more human than that. Deep down, we're all especially human, but we don't have a choice. But he does, and he looks around and sees the world and thinks, this is a place I want to call home. And to make it that way, the change starts with me. I have to be extraordinary when all I want is to be ordinary. He may not know who he is, he may not know what he was made for, he may not know what he's supposed to do, but he does know that this is a world worth saving, that this is a world
I love
worth
you, and
loving.
I love you too.
Who is he?
You chose to be a monster, Ivo.
And what does that make an alien freak like you?
Don't you read the paper?
I'm Superman.
I guess in that sense, we can all start our adventures with Superman. Unless they ruin the whole show in the finale.